All right, guys. So welcome to this live session here with your host, FX. So as we do every weekdays, we look at the Forex indices and metal markets, especially ES and gold. Thank you for being on this live. So today is January 9th, 2026. So hope everyone had a great week and a great morning. So let's get it here. Perfect. So first, we're going to look at the news calendar. And hopefully, the setup that you had here yesterday here was perfect. I'm pretty sure that most of the people that did take the trade that I showed yesterday were in profit. So that's awesome, and the price did continue to went up. So we're going to look at the chart here in a couple seconds. But for now, we're going to be looking at the news. So at 8:30, we'll see exactly what happened here in the market. So I'm only focusing on Euro, British Pound, Canada, US, and the yen, Japan. So those are the market that I'm looking at because those are the most markets here that are affected with gold and ES. That is the Dow Jones. So especially for the US. So for at 8:30 this morning, we had unemployment claim for Canada. So 8.2 K, we're expecting 53.6. So if we click on it, should be, so this is pretty much negative employment, employment change. So that's pretty much negative here, 8.2. Unemployment rate, so 6.8%. We're at the 6.5% last month. That's negative also. Average hourly earning month to month for the US, so 0.3%. That's what we're expecting. So that was positive. Non-farm unemployment change, so 50. We're expecting 66. Last month was at 56. So this is negative overall, and we have unemployment rate, so 4.4%. We're at 4.5%. We're expecting 4.5. Well, we're at 4.6 last month, so that is positive. And at 10 o'clock, we have primary UOM consumer sentiment that'll be out here. But other than that, we have a few other FOMC speakers here later on. And during London session, we had some German news. So I'm going to see exactly if we can add some alerts here at the German alerts. So let's look at that here in a few seconds here. So let me close this out. And we're going to look at the TV alert app. So this is an app that I created here to provide me with institutional liquidity here, and any other person that wants to have access to it. You can always contact me on the form at the bottom of this live. If you want to work with me, I'm also a software engineer, so I create my own stuff. So everything that you're seeing here is done from me and me only. So let's look at the alerts here from this morning. So basically, you have the ticker here, news ticker, you have the alert ticker, and you have the market ticker. So it'll give you exactly the current price movement here in the market. So, and at the bottom, you have the alerts here that is based off of my setup. So as you see, TradingFX, this is me. And you have this is used as institutional liquidity. So it's the indicator here is called the liquidity institutional tracker. So this is what I created, and basically it's going to provide you exactly the actual directional bias here of the market based on different markets. And I'm only focusing on indices that is from the European Union, so UK, You have German, you have Euro, you have France. So those four, at most of them will come in at London, and then at New York you have US30, NASDAQ, S&P 500, Russell 2000, and at Asian you have Japan 225 and Hong Kong 50, and you have gold for at Asian, New York, and London. So I'm just gonna see exactly the German one. So we had a sell here at market open at London. France was a buy, and UK was a sell at 311. So on the first 15-minute candle, we had the alerts. So we're gonna see here. So sell, buy, sell, and at the bottom you have the institutional, the community chat. So that'll be when we're gonna have a lot of people here in the group. We're gonna have access to that, and also at the bottom you have the economic calendar from TradingView. So I'm focusing on US, so I'm just gonna load it up, and this is the upcoming news for next week on the 13th. And today we had the 3 news event that came out. So this is what we just covered. So pretty straightforward system. Now we're going to be looking at the TP alert, the TradingView indicator, and we're going to look at the setups that we had yesterday. And this is basically the markup that I had yesterday on my live. So if you missed the live yesterday, you see exactly the markup that I did and the take profit zone that I was looking for, and that was basically this zone here. And I was able to scalp a little bit here at the top, followed my plan, and I didn't re-enter here for a 4th time because the maximum trade that I'm taking within 30 minutes is 3 trades, and that's exactly what I had. But you were able to go back up to the 61.8 retracement that we put on the 4-hour time frame on US30. And I'm only focusing on US30 when I'm trading. And right now the price went up to 78.6, and as you can see on that news candle, we had a push to the upside up to 78.6, and now we're retracing to the downside. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to be going short for this session. So we'll see exactly how it's going to go. So we have the demand zone here. So this is the indicator that I created here, that it was optimized from an original indicator that was shared for the public. But I added a few things here that makes more sense. So the breaker structure, I put the price. Also with the supply and demand zones, you're going to see the price also. Originally, there was no price there. And also, I'm using the higher time frame supply and demand zones to trade my 50-minute chart. So right now, as you can see, I added a panel, and the zone time frame is 30 minutes. So the supply and demand zones are off of the 30 minutes, and I'm trading on the 50-minute chart. And the last indicator here, I have 2 others, but the other one here is the point of control in VWAP. So the gray line that you see and the blue line. The blue line is a point of control, and the green line, the gray line is the VWAP, so volume weighted average price. So basically, pretty simple to understand. So if price is above or below those 2 lines, that means that we're bullish or bearish. So as you can see right now, we're trying to break out of those zones here to go down. So we should be going short here at market open. So we'll see exactly how it's going to go. We may have a pullback and then start to continue to the downside. And lastly, we have the pivot high-low edge to provide you with a pivot point. So basically, right now we had you're gonna see clearly the lower lows, lower highs, higher lows, higher highs in the market. So right now we had a pivot point here. So that was the high. We had the high lows here. Now we're going to see exactly if price we're going to break those previous higher lows. If we are breaking to the downside, we have some real estate here to the bottom. So the next demand zone here, if we're looking at the demand zone, is right here. And if we're passing this demand zone, we have a big fair value gap right here to go down. All right, so pretty straightforward here to understand. And since it's Friday, I'm not going to take any trades. I'm just going to look at the market structure. I usually not trade Fridays, but that's what we're going to do here. And the app that the trading platform that I'm using is called Alcyon trading platform. So it's a futures trading account. And basically, I'm using a 150K account to trade. So it's 9:30. So let's see how market will go. Oops. There you go. So as you can see right now, price is retracing to the upside. We do have a pivot point that is starting to be created here. It's still pushing here. Like I said, we're creating high lows here, so we may start to have a push to the upside, but we have a retracement pivot here at 78.6 that is off of the 4-hour time frame. So if we want to go up, we have a supply zone right here. If we want to go down, we have a demand zone. So right now we're in between. We have that retracement point here, and we're going to see exactly if we're creating this high. This lower high is actually the highest point that we're going to go, so we could confirm our bearish movement here in the market. So we'll see how it goes. And usually on Fridays, basically it's a trap day. So that means that most of the market here will trap people here to the upside or downside. But overall, it's looking bullish here. And like I said, if we're passing that point of that 78.6 and we're passing that pivot point to the upside, we have a lot of real estates here. So let me put a line on the next break of structure that we had before, and that was a break of structure from Wednesday. So I'm just gonna put that line right here, boom, boom, and I'm just gonna see another one here and another one here. All right, so this is those 3 point of interest in the market. So if price wants to go above those, so right now the first thing that we need to look for is the pivot point here to be breaking to the upside. If so, that means that that higher low is still validated here to push the price to the upside. If not, we will go down below this demand. So this demand zone here is basically a point of interest for the price to go lower here. All right. So right now we're trying to grab some liquidity here that was left from that news event. We went up to this level here, that break of structure, the previous break of structure, and right now we're trying to. It seems that we're retracing here to the downside. So that was a small push here to the upside. Market open. Let's see exactly if we're gonna have some alerts. So we had that supply zone, but we had the previous breaker structure here that was still validated here. So now we're just going to see exactly if you're going to go up to that pivot point or down to that pivot point. So one of those needs to be broken, right? So if we're breaking this pivot point here, that means that we're still going higher. If we're breaking this one, that means that we're going to start to go lower here, right? So right here. All right. All right, so we're pushing here. So usually at around, let me check the time. Usually 5 minutes after market open, you may notice that the price wants to go in one direction or the other. All right, so it seems to be going to the upside. Still want to have that pivot point to be broken to the upside, but still have to wait. So you don't need to get in on the market right away. You just have to make sure that the price action here makes sense, because right now it's pretty much in an indecision zone. It's basically sideways right now after that news event that we had at 8:30. So the last push to the upside was a good time to get in here at the news event, and you see clearly that it was bullish because of those pivot point. So now we're creating a high, and now we just want to see exactly if that high will be broken to the upside. If not, we need to broke the low side here.
Buy Russell 2000 and
All right, so we have Russell 2000 for buy.
15 minutes time frame and time 9 hours 37 minutes and 13 seconds.
Russell buy. All right, so we're now pushing here. So now it's 9:38. So usually around 35, 38, we should have a good grasp of what price wants to do. So it seems to want to push. And those lines here, those are previous breaker structure zones here, guys. So we have the price right here. So you could use them as take profit zones. All right, so we're still pushing here. $9.39. All right, so make sure to like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. Making this a lot of those likes each and every weekdays, Monday to Friday at 9:15. Usually I'm here for maybe 30 to 45 minutes. Could be a little bit longer, depending exactly on what the market is giving us, if we have a continuation here to the upside or the downside. But usually my trades are no more than 30 minutes. And if you go back here on my live this week, I had one trade here that I was in for about 7 minutes. So from 9:30 37, and I was done. So NASDAQ is a buy. So we have a buy direction here on NASDAQ. Let's see if I can get. All right, so now we're retracing here. So I think they're done taking liquidity here at the top. So it went up above that a little bit above that price action here. So now we just want to see if price is going to continue to the downside. So if we have a break of structure here at that point, we should be going to the downside here. So I'm just going to close the pivot indicator so y'all can see more about the price action here. All right. So we know that we have a pivot one right here. We tried to took some liquidity at the top. Now we should be going down here. And what I'm waiting for is, and what you should be waiting for here is the break of this demand zone here to the downside for a break of structure. All right, so it's US30 we have a sell, so meaning that should be going down right now. So liquidity is going down. Everything is looking bearish. Now we're just waiting for that break of structure to the downside. So the liquidity tracker here giving us a sell. So right now, I think we're pretty much done going up. Now we're going to start to go down here. And if you want to have more clarity of what's going on, you just go on the 4-hour and see exactly how that 4-hour is creating here. And as you can see, we just went up. Now it's breaking to the downside right here. All right, so expecting to have the price going lower. So that will be the best time here to get in for a sell. If you're a little bit more confident on your trade. If not, you could wait for that break of that demand zone to go down. So that means that those pivot points here are being rated here at the bottom. And as you can see, if you remember, we had some pivot points here at the bottom. So those that were higher lows that are being broke to the downside. And the last higher low here is this one that's pretty much at that demand zone. So as you can see, price went up. We did another pivot point right here. Now it should be eventually going down here. But like I said, we are Friday, so there will be a lot of manipulation that will be done here, guys. So we may start to go down here maybe next week. So maybe it's just going to consolidate here for a little bit before going down. But or we're creating a new lower high, a high low before breaking to the upside. So I have my zones placed here for a somewhat retracement zone for our sell. We have that supply zone at the top here. If we're breaking above that, that means that we're still rallying into the upside. But if not, we should be going down because we have a big FVG, a fair value gap here. You can see clearly that it was a fair value gap that's been created here since by yesterday's move. Just gonna see if so we have US30 sell, we have Russell for a buy, and we have US30 NASDAQ for a buy. Those are the alerts that we had so far. So that US30, you could wait a little bit here. So this is a point of interest here for a sell. We went back to that break of structure. So if you have taken that sell, you would have taken a sell at the break of structure right here. and you would have put your stop loss at the pivot points here at the top. So that will be the point of interest here for your stop loss. And your take profit here will be the next demand zone that will be right here if you were taking a small scalp. If not, you have the other demand zones here that was breaking to the upside here before. So that were previous supply zones that could be breaking to the downside. So you have this one right here, and then you have the other ones here at the bottom. The other ones here, those will be your take profit zones here if you're holding on to those trades a little bit more. There you go. So now we're pushing. So we're at that demand zone. So that's perfect. That previous pivot point here is broken. Now we want to see price. So now it just tapped that demand zone. So if you have taken that trade here at the breaker structure, you should be well in profit if you were trailing and everything like that. So you should be done. So once again, we had a US30 sell that came in at what time here exactly? 9. So at 9:45. So at the start of that candle here, the candle that we just got, we had a sell signal that came in. We're waiting for the pivot points here to be broken to the downside. Those higher lows. So as you can see, we have no higher lows pivot points anymore. We only have those highs, lower highs. Your entry would be that break of structure right here for a sell if you were a little bit early. If not, you would be in that trade here at 9:45. Like I said, personally, I don't take trades on Fridays, so I'm just looking to see exactly the market and just sharpening my analysis here just to make sure that it makes the analysis makes sense here for the upcoming week. But what I'm expecting here, if you zoom out a little bit, is a break to the downside here maybe next week. We do have some news here on the 13th. I'll be on Tuesday. So that may start to push the price here to the downside. So, but if you're able to take a small scalp here on this setup, you would be in profit for sure. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. If it's the first time being on my live, present myself. My name is Andre. They call me DreDFX. Been trading for the last 13 years, starting in 2013. Started with binary option, then Forex, so CFDs, and then switched to futures this year. Sorry, it's the end of last year, 2025. And I'm trading with the platform called Alcyon Trading Platform. And all of the indicators that you're seeing here, those are indicators that I created or that I tweaked to my liking. Specifically the supply and demand zone. This is an original indicator here that is created here that is shared to the public, but I added a few things here that it's more optimized here on what I'm trading on. And on top of that, you're able to trade off of the supply and demand zone off of a higher time frame information, so that you don't have on the original indicator. Also, the pivot point, you have the actual zones that goes in the future. So if it aligns with the supply demand zones, I know exactly what to look for and see exactly if it's a higher high, higher low, or lower high, lower low. Set up to see exactly our directional bias here overall. And I also, unfortunately, have low vision here. So, fortunately, I lost the use of my left eye. And right now I'm still in treatment with my right eye. So it's pretty much a miracle that I'm still able to see some type of chart, because that's basically all that I do, is looking at charts and see exactly how to optimize a system and the way that I trade. And I have a lot of knowledge here, so I could provide you. So if you want to have access to the indicators, or you want to work with me, make sure to go on the description box of this live. You have a form, and also you're gonna have all the details of what I'm using. So TradingView, Alcyon trading platform. So there's my code here. At checkout, you could put my code RadioFX in capital letters. And yeah, and if you want me to create your own indicator or your own bot, like I said, I'm a software engineer, so I create my own stuff here. All right, so. And also you have the TV Alert app that I showed at the beginning. That is a platform that I'm working on to provide an actual space for people to take trades, take alerts from setups from, could be me or any other trader, and you could have a community here to talk to when you're trading. And usually I'm taking trades here. When I do my lives, I'm here for maybe for 30 to 45 minutes max. And on Fridays, I do not trade, but I'm still looking at the market and give you some pointers here on how to look at them. So right now we went to that demand zone, we tapped it, and then started to go up. So I'm just gonna close. And like I said, on Fridays, you have a lot of manipulation here that is done from the market. So it's going to go sideways, and that's pretty much what we had. If you're able to scalp a small portion of that down movement, that would be perfect. But as you can see, price went, tapped that demand zone and started to go up. And now what we're looking at is this is 78.6 retracement off of the 4-hour. So this is a zone here of interest. So if we're passing that zone, those are the previous break of structure to the upside that I'm trying to see if price wants to retrace and reverse off of it. If not, the highest point here is that previous supply zone that was created on Wednesday, on our drop that we had here, that amazing drop that happened on Wednesday. So we'll see exactly how price wants to do. But those are basically zones here, and the price, as you can see on US30, of interest that you need to focus on. So you have those 3 lines here, and on top you have this supply zone at the top. And if it wants to go down, we already broke our previous higher lows. Those pivot points were out. And if we're passing this demand zone, those are the other levels that I'm looking for. This is the previous levels from yesterday, and you have another demand zone at the bottom here. So that is good to see. And also you have the POC, the point of control, and the VWAP, volume weighted average price. This is another indicator that I created. Pretty simple to use. So if price is above those lines, that means that we're bullish. If we're below those lines, that means we're bearish. The momentum is going down or up. Right now we are above, so momentum is going up. And those two are basically calculated based off of the market data. So it's pure price action information. So and that includes also the the orders here in the market. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. If you like the live, make sure to like and subscribe. So it's 10 o'clock. So we're still pushing here. So we're above that POC and VWAP. So should be bullish here. So that means that demand zone was tapped, confirmed. So buyers are in the market right now. So we're going to push to the upside. Right now, we're going to have to wait for the pivot points here to be broken to the upside. As you can see, we have 2 pivot points here. So we have a high and we have a lower high. So if we're passing those 2 zones, that means that we're going to go bullish here in the market. If not, we have that pivot point here. That is the higher low. It needs to be broken to the downside here to go down. So right now, we are still bullish here. Point of control, VWAP are down. So still bullish here in the market. Meanwhile, I'm just going to look at the German trade that we had this morning. So it was supposed to be a sell at 3. So let me check what happened at 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock, we had that sell. Yeah, so that was a good scalp here to the downside. So that was a win. UK 100 was a buy at 3. So let's look at the US30. Sorry, UK 100 at 3 was a buy. Yep. So that was perfect. So that would be basically if we do a replay, if you have taken that trade to the upside, your take profit zone was the previous supply zone, just to make sure. There you go. So that was your supply zone level. So if you wanted to take a scalp, and we have France 40, that was a buy, give you the exact same thing. So at 3, yeah, so at 3 we had that buy, continue to the upside. We're above point of control VWAP, so you would still be in that trade here currently. There was no, there was a supply zone that was broken to the upside, so we had a break of structure. You had the signal here that came in at the 3:0 something. Let me double check the time, and I'll show you exactly the setups here in a few seconds on my TV Alert app. So I'm not giving you setup that are not real. I'm just gonna see at what time. So that was at 3:01. So at 3:01, France 40. So beginning of that candle, pretty much right here on that 3-hour candle. You had the buy, break of structure, POC VWAP, continue to the upside. So that was perfect. So let me show you the the TV, and I'll show you exactly the setup that I'm talking about. So as you can see, the first trade that we had today was France 40 at 301. It was a buy. So like I just explained, it was a win. We have German was a sell. That was a win also at 302. You had the UK 100. That was a sell, and that was a win at 311. Yeah, Russell for this morning at buy at 339, 937, sorry. US 30, UK, US 100 at 945, and US 30 at 945. All right, so this is the TB Alert app. So this is my app that I created. So that's perfect. So let's go back here on Trading View. All right, so let's go back here on US 30. Let's look at the Russell. Russell, we had a buy. Now it's breaking to the downside. So that's pretty much what we wanted. US 30 should be doing the same thing. Here you go. That's like I said, guys. We have a break of structure going down. So that sell is still valid here. Going down, we did a break of structure. We went back down to that zone. So we should be going to the downside here right now. So yeah, so everything is bearish here. So let's look at the 4-hour. So 4-hour is broken to the downside. So we have some momentum here going down. So that's perfect. So that was a beautiful setup here. So this is 15 minutes. So if you remember, we had that demand zone. So we have a break of structure to the downside. So that was pretty much your entry. That was the demand zone here to the downside if we were looking to go short. And now the next demand zone, the next break of structure is right here. So let me put a horizontal line. We have one right here. And you can also go on the left side to see exactly if we have any demand zone here that was breaking to the downside. We have another one, a small one right here. Let's see. No, everything is good on that. We have another one right here. And we have another one right here. So those break of structure are used as entries and exit points. So any break of structure in the past are zones that price needs to react to and return to in the future. All right, so that's how you need to look at the supply and demand zones. Those are really important information that you need to know. So right now we're pushing to the downside. Like I said, we have a big fair value gap here at the bottom, and we didn't have any structure at all. So we may start to retrace to the downside here to those zones to go down. So that US 30 sell that we had at 945 was actually perfect. So you would be in a little drawdown here, but then right away take profit. That'll be your demand zone here, and you have the previous break of structure also that was right here. Now we're retracing a little bit back up to that demand zone. So at that point, you would be already out of that trade if you're scalping, because I'm scalping specifically. I'm not holding on to trades for a long time. But by looking at the 4-hour structure, we have some leeway here to the downside here. All right, so you see exactly the zones that I have, the price levels here. So I'm expecting the price to go towards those zones here if we're trading to the downside or we're pushing to the downside here. All right, so we're gonna close it out here, guys. Not gonna stay on that much here on Friday. So make sure to enjoy your day. I hope you had a great week of trading. And if you didn't take any trades this week, that's okay also. We'll be back here next week for another session here with myself, TradeFX. And same time, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to start our live. And I'm just going to break it down for you. And you're going to see clearly. And if you go back on my previous lives, you could look at all of the setups, all of the trades that I took. You see exactly my P&L and all that stuff. So I'm not hiding anything. And today, like I said, on Fridays, I do not trade. So that's why you don't see any setup on my screen, only the actual trading view. But you could look at my results for the last week. I think we were at 89% win rate and made more than 1% this week. So that's perfect. And I'm only trading one mini on my 150K account that I have with the Alcyon trading platform. So it's a low risk, but still able to make 1%. So if I would able to increase my risk, I would have made maybe 5, 6, maybe even 10%. Pretty sure. So let me join you for a sell. So you will check exactly the setup here on German. It makes sense to take a sell on that. Let me show you that real quick before we leave. I know that German was breaking the downside. Yeah, exactly. So same thing. We have a lot of demands already at the bottom. So we'll have to see exactly if we were breaking out of those high lows. If so, we're going to be going to the downside here for a while. All right. So I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back here on Monday. So make sure to look at my upcoming live loads. I always put them over the weekend. So make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat and in the description box below, comment section. All right. So have a great rest of your day. Peace.